On this episode of Ghost Tentacles, we're doing one of our episodes of Tentacle Talks and Ghostly Gossip. Yes. And this topic is the Mandela effect, which if you go on the internet is everywhere right now. So this is not like some crazy new thing. And if you don't know what it is, we will tell you.
Because we were talking about it casually the other day, and we were both like, I referenced something. Oh, because what were we watching? It was Man in the High Castle?
Yes.
And
I don't know how it was. Yes.
Yeah. So it's an alternative history, and
it's very unclear what happens.
But they basically find, I think it's based on a book, and they find this video that makes it seem like the reality that they live in is if Nazis occupied and basically occupied the United States.
Yeah.
And they find a video that looks like as if otherwise, the current state of affairs, like how they actually
like it's the actual footage of.
And we were trying to figure out what it might be, like what. All this might be.
Like it doesn't. It's at no point is it clear if it's an alternate reality, if it's like something supernatural, if it's something kind of a government conspiracy. Like it's totally very unclear for the whole. There's only one season so far. I've watched the whole thing and it's very unclear. And the last scene of the last episode makes it so much more fucking confusing. And I have no idea. But that was what led into.
And so the conversation led us to actually talk about the Mandela effect, and that we both actually knew about it, which was kind of cool. And it's that.
It's just the concept of people remembering things wrong. But like everyone remembering things wrong.
So a false timeline or a false history.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people think different reasons of why that might happen. And one of them I think is like the butterfly effect kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or an alternate reality shift or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And,
like traveling back in time, if you don't know what that means. Traveling back in time and then changing something and then butterfly affecting it.
And so a lot of people who like super enjoy sci-fi, it's like for anything with time travel, they believe that you should not change anything, because even the smallest thing will do that butterfly effect. And so hypothetically, even if if there's ever actually is time travel, that you would assume ethically that there would be certain laws where it's like you can't change anything. But even the smallest thing might change these things that ripple into the future that are so subtle that we don't. But we all have this awareness collectively. So it's just a cool idea, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like when you hear one that doesn't make sense to you, it really kind of like blows your mind. I mean. So it's named the Mandela effect after Nelson Mandela because a lot of people, or a very large number of people, remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison. But he actually didn't die in prison. He didn't die until December 2013, which was only 2 years ago. So he did not die when he was in prison. He got out and he lived a much longer life. But there's a bunch of death ones. So
another one was Betty White, that a lot of people believe that she had passed. There's not a date to why, but she's alive and well at age 93, and that's as of March 2015.
Yes, there's a couple months, but I believe she's still alive.
Some people recall her passing like years ago.
Mm-hmm. And then another one was Muhammad Ali, which I did think he died too. Apparently he's also still alive, so it's just a lot of deaths. Another one was Fidel Castro, but that one I wasn't too sure about, but I had also thought he died at some point. But
some people recalled 2011, him dying.
But yes, he's obviously still alive. We've had a lot of, if you're in the United States, you know there's a bunch of things with Cuba that have gone on in the sort of recent past, and yes, he's still alive. But I think the one that everybody always hears about when they hear the Mandela effect is the Berenstain Bears. So if you know the Mandela effect, you know Berenstain Bears. So the thing is we all grew up, we all had the Berenstain Bears. It was a book, it's a little family, and we all remember it as the Berenstain Bears. Well, it's not the Berenstain Bears, it's the Berenstain Bears.
With an A, right?
With an A.
No. I remember it as Berenstein.
Yes, everyone does.
Everyone does.
Everyone does.
But why?
Everyone does.
That's so bizarre, right?
I looked into it extensively, the Berenstain Bears one, and apparently the guy who wrote the Berenstain Bears wrote some kind of I'm probably quoting this slightly wrong, but he wrote some kind of like a personal novel about his life and stuff, and in the novel he references the fact that people consistently always called him Berenstein instead of Berenstain. So it seemed to be something that just happened in his life, that he was always just called the wrong name. So we don't know why, but you know, I don't think it was on TV, or if it was probably way later. And all of our books were being read to us, so for some reason the name Berenstain just weird. Kind of makes your mind read Berenstein or Berenstein, but we said Berenstein. So.
Another one that's I just read now that I totally like was that Fruit Loops is not spelled like fruit.
Yeah.
It's not Fruit. It's spelled Froot.
I knew that, but like I always, if I was gonna write it, I'd always write fruit spelled correctly. That's definitely.
I didn't know that one.
And then was the other one? Oh, Oscar Mayer. Everyone spells it like Meyer, M-E-Y-E-R, but it's actually spelled Oscar Mayer, even though it's Oscar Mayer.
I didn't know that one.
M-A-Y. There's the song. It's like, Baloney has the second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R.
Oh, wow. That's true. I remembered it as Oscar Mayer with an E, too.
Yeah, so it's Oscar Mayer. Well, I mean, it's Oscar Mayer, but it's spelled like Mayer for some reason.
I suspect another part of this might be just cultural, but like, so in the way that ideas can happen in two different places at the same time, they can naturally evolve because of the state of history. So like this causes someone to come up with this idea, and then that causes someone else to come up with this idea. So if everyone has the same history and the same like cultural things to base off of, they'll come to the same conclusions. So like someone can, based on collectively growing and hearing and being exposed to the same things, hear Berenstain as Berenstein. So that happens to everybody just because of like cultural. It's like a...
Yeah, like maybe there was somebody who was popular at the time that had a very similar name that wasn't, maybe not Berenstein, but maybe it was like, you know...
The collective unconscious
Crinklestein or something. So because that person was really popular, I don't know, I'm literally just making shit up.
Yeah, we're just...
But so it could have been that, it could have just been, I don't know. Or it could have been someone went back in time and changed it.
I like that idea better, it's so fun. Okay.
Another huge one that comes up a lot is like classic movie lines. And the first one on this blew my fucking mind. Like, blew my fucking mind.
Okay, what one is it?
The first one.
Okay, so in Disney movies, in Snow White, did the evil queen say mirror, mirror, or magic mirror?
The correct word is magic mirror. It is not mirror, mirror on the wall. It's magic mirror on the wall. So everything that you've ever known of mirror, mirror on the wall is wrong.
That actually kind of, I like want to, I don't know, I'm feeling emotions.
Well, so is the next line also. The whole sentence is wrong. Because who's the fairest one?
Yeah, we thought it was who's the fairest
of them all. So it's mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? It's actually magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all?
This is really wrong.
So the proper thing is magic mirror and one of all, not of them all.
Magic mirror feels like especially
super wrong, right?
Like it makes me uncomfortable.
The other big one is the Star Wars. Everyone remembers Luke, I am your father, and it's no, I am your father. It's not
that
Luke, I am your father. I think I wrote one more other one. Oh, just let them...
The Interview with the Vampire?
Yeah. It's Interview with a Vampire or Interview with the Vampire. A lot of people remember it as and I think it's actually the.
Interview with a Vampire. Yeah.
I think it's actually the.
I read the books. Interview with the Vampire. Yeah, that feels strange too.
Yeah, so it's like weird shit like that. The Snow White one, I think, Snow White and Berenstain Bears are definitely the two to me that are like...
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I mean, that's really uncomfortable.
Freaking Berenstain Bears. Not only that, but like all kinds of places it's like written, like all the books, any book, the oldest book anybody can find, they're all Berenstain. But there's all kinds of news articles that say Berenstain. So like anybody who wrote an article about Berenstain Bears or like a chart of books, so, like the most popular, they all say Berenstain, which is what's really weird.
Chartreuse?
Saying that people remember chartreuse as being pink.
What is chartreuse?
It's
chartreuse.
Like,
I think of like a pink red.
Wait, you didn't know chartreuse is listed?
I should know that I'm an artist.
So you actually think? Okay, so
I think more of a red.
No, chartreuse is like lime green. It's not lime green. It's like lime green with a touch more yellow in it.
So Curious George, that tail or no tail?
I don't remember one way or the other.
I remember him having a tail.
He has no tail.
He has no tail.
He says he never had a tail.
The Gremlins character, was it Spike or Stripe? I remember Spike. Oh, it was Stripe, not Spike.
Yeah.
It was Stripe? I remembered it as Spike too! It's something to look into. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't really have like an explanation for it on my end. I personally don't think it's anything paranormal. I don't think it's anything... I think it's probably more along the lines of, like, you were saying before, with, like, the timeline of history and how people just kind of, like, you know, like...
Ideas evolve.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if somebody says, hey, why don't you read your kids this Berenstain Bears book? And you go, oh, yeah, you'll get one of those. And then you read it to your kids, and then your kids remember it, and then you tell another parent, and then...
Yeah. I think it logically is people like just coming to these conclusions culturally and like you said, repeating things and it getting like just is it like the game of telephone? It's said wrong once and then it's just collectively. Yeah. But I just fucking love the idea of it being a butterfly effect timeline thing. As someone who loves sci-fi, it's just like that's what it is. I just spit everywhere.
Like my only issue with that is not that I don't believe it's possible. It's that I believe if something like that happened, I think that we'd have bigger issues. No, we'd have bigger issues to deal with than Berenstein Bears. Like, if literally there was somebody who could go back in time, was changing shit and causing all of this, even if it's just one person, I feel like they'd have accidentally caused bigger issues than Berenstein Bears or remembering Nelson Mandela dying.
Maybe it is bigger issues, but it's that, or big things shift overall, but these are like echoes in our memory of small things. Because you can't, like, so if a big thing changes, then, like, just on the peripheral, it's like sort of like a ghosting. It's like these little bits of information.
Like, we just remember it and nobody remembers it wrong? We all just remember it the new way, you mean?
Yeah, like most of the time. Yeah, I think for most things, if it literally was a shift in timeline, you would remember things correct, like as they are in that reality. So it might almost be like a glitch in the matrix thing, like a peripheral. Here's how I can. Like these little bits that are in. I don't know.
So, like, for some reason, those just couple of things didn't properly...
I know it's not practical. Like, it makes more sense to just think it was cultural, but it's fun to think that it was...
But it's still very weird. Like, but I imagine things like the Snow White thing, it was probably misquoted by someone important, or, like, on media, or...
Luke, I am your father?
Yeah.
As being, no, I am your father?
So I'm saying, it must have just been misquoted in some weird way, where it was... But, like, the thing is I don't get about that, is people still watch those movies all the time. So how is nobody, how is it such a big thing that, like...
I kind of want to look at that clip, though. I bet, though, it was done wrong in, like, other things, so...
Yeah, like, I'm sure it was misquoted in... You know, they use famous quotes in, like, stuff like SNL and various things, like... It was probably just misquoted by the wrong people, and, well, that's the thing, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, you can look up more of them, there's lots of them, and,
it's interesting.
It's a thing, so...
I'd way prefer believing that it's, like...
But, like, if you look it up yourself, it's probably a good thing, because there's a lot of ones that didn't click for us, like, they weren't ones that meant anything to us, and, like, when I read it, I was like, okay, this means nothing to me. But, so, yeah. Like, I'm sure different generations, there's different ones. Yep.
It's interesting, even if it is just a weird mind trick. It's still interesting that it happens, like, from a mental perspective.
Alright, well, thank you for watching this strange and unusual episode of Ghost Tentacles.
Time traveling.
Please subscribe to our channel and fill your life with octoplasm.
And cool things like ghostly... I'm ruining it.
Sorry.